So for today's video, we're looking at speed versus size. We've got the Edgun here with the 22 caliber barrel and the same Edgun set up with a 30 caliber barrel. We're going to do maximum tuning for both of these with the tuning option that you can get from Edgun West, where you add an additional gauge here on your regulator, which obviously really helps with getting this thing tuned for a specific power setting. So we're going to start off with the 22 caliber, and we're going to see if we can get this tuned up to maximum power.
All right, so we're at 230-ish on the reg right now. 1,140 feet a second on that. Wow, that's really moving. Let's see if we can get it any faster if we bump this reg up all the way to the highest recommended setting. All right, 280 on the dot. Here we go. So that went up to 1,196 feet a second. Let's try one more shot of that just to see. $1,200 exactly. So 1,200 feet a second is what we can get on max tuning with the 21 grain H&N slug. So here we go with the 30 caliber. 853 with a 49.5 grain. $836, interesting. $846. So we'll say 846 is our median average with these slugs over the 3 shots. So let's see what it does to the block of clay now. All right, here we go. Speed versus size. Test 1, speeds up first. Wow. I wonder if it went all the way through that block of clay. I'm gonna have to go check that out. It definitely cracked the sound barrier hard. We have those 21 grain H&N slugs going about 1,200 feet a second right now. Speed versus size. Test number 2. 30 caliber this time. So this time we're doing the size version, and this is doing about 11 more foot-pounds than the 22 cal was, but is it gonna cause more damage? Because it's going a lot slower. So let's find out. Shoot that clay and see. Here we go. Wow. Okay. So definitely, obviously no supersonic crack, and the smack on the front of the clay even sounded different at that slower speed. So let's see what that looks like when we cut this thing open. Look at that nice star pattern sort of that it made on the entrance. It's kind of awesome. I wonder what that slug is going to look like. You can see it really bulged out the side of the clay there on the top and the side. So let's cut this thing open and see what that wound channel looks like. Here we go. Let's see what this looks like. Wow, nice wound channel, guys. There's bits of lead here in the side, so you can tell that the hit it fast enough to really cause some serious fragmentation on the lead. This is the biggest piece of the slug that I found right there. So that's what's left of the slug. It really mushrooms out, completely spreads open, and there's little bits of lead all sort of around in there. Let's get a measurement on this. 2.5 inches wide at the widest point there. And we've got 4.5 inches of penetration into the clay. All right, so here's our clay, and definitely a much different style entrance wound from that slower, larger projectile. But the only way to really tell what's going on is cut this guy open and see what it looks like on the inside. So I'm gonna just kind of try to split this wound channel right in half, right down the center there. Oh, I didn't quite get it perfectly in half. You can see the slug went a little deeper because I went off center just a little bit. See, the slug's down in there, just ever so slightly farther than my cut. So I'm gonna cut this out here so we can get a measurement on how deep the slug went and how wide our wound cavity is. So let's go ahead and take some measurements here. We've got actually only about 2¼ inches open there. And I remember our last was 2½. And this did look a little smaller to me. Yeah, about 2¼ So didn't seem to cause quite as much expansion. Interesting. I didn't expect it would because it's going slower. And then we have really about same amount of penetration though. 4½ inches or so into the clay, which is about what we got with the 22 cal. So let's go ahead and get this slug out of here. Wow, it really mushroomed out pretty big though. Look at that, the amount of expansion on that lead. That's impressive. It all stayed together and just expanded rather than with the 22 cal, how it fragmented apart. Here's another look at that 22 cal. So 22, 30. 30 does a lot more lead. You can definitely tell it's a lot more of something. So I'm imagining that whatever you're hitting with that 30 cal is going to have a bigger hole they're bleeding out of, but the shock potentially that you get with this 22 cal going so fast is going to cause more of just a shock. So you guys let me know in the comments what you think is more devastating. Our results here on the clay are almost on par, but I think that obviously we've got one going about 400 feet a second faster than this one here, and this one's doing about 11 foot-pounds more than this one here. So leave me some comments, guys. Hope you thought this video was cool. If you did, check out one of the other couple of videos I've got up on screen right now. Hang out with me some more, and until next time, shoot straight, stay free. I love you guys.